They say the only thing sharper than a vibroblade is the memory of a love that should have killed you. But looking up at the woman sitting on the throne of skulls, holding my execution warrant in one manicured hand and a glass of Altarian wine in the other, I realized that blades are actually much sharper. Especially the one currently pressed against my jugular by a guard who smelled like he hadn't showered since the last galactic epic. "Kneel," she said. Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried the weight of a dying star. It wasn't a request. It was gravity. I didn't kneel. I couldn't. Not with the neural shackles locking my joints in a standing position, a fact she knew perfectly well. Empress Vespera, long may she reign over the ashes of her enemies. I rasped, my throat dry from 3 days in a holding cell with nothing to drink but recycled water and despair. "You look expensive." Vespera stood. The movement was liquid, dangerous. Her gown was woven from the silk of void spiders, shimmering with a darkness that seemed to swallow the light of the throne room. She descended the dais, one step at a time, the click of her heels echoing like a countdown. "Commander Kaelen Thorne," she murmured, stopping inches from me. "The scourge of the Outer Rim. The man who stole a dreadnought with nothing but a datapad and a charming smile. And yet, here you are, caught stealing a necklace. How pedestrian." "It was a very nice necklace," I lied. "It matched my eyes." She reached out, her fingers trailing along my jawline. Her skin was cool, a stark contrast to the burning heat of the plasma torches lighting the room. Her touch lingered on the scar that ran from my ear to my chin. "I remember when you got this," she whispered, her voice dropping to a register that made the guard behind me shift uncomfortably. "You were 12. You took a knife for me. I didn't take it for you, VS. I just wasn't fast enough to dodge." "Liar," she smiled, and for a second, the Empress vanished, and I saw the girl from the rust yards. The girl I had promised to burn the universe down for. Then the mask slammed back into place. "Executioner, ready your blade." The guard kicked the back of my knees. The neural lock disengaged, and I hit the marble floor hard. The crowd of nobles, a sea of painted faces and synthetic bodies, gasped in delighted anticipation. This was the main event. "Any last words, darling?" Vespera asked, leaning down so her lips brushed my ear. "Just 2, I whispered back. "Checkmate." The explosion blew the heavy doors of the throne room inward, turning solid durasteel into shrapnel. But to understand why I wasn't worried about the executioner, or why the Empress of the known universe was about to drag me into a secret passage while her palace burned, you have to go back. Back to the rust. Back to the smell of ozone and rotting metal. Back to where we were just 2 rats fighting over a scrap of cheese in a galaxy that wanted to eat us whole. 20 years ago, the Scrapyard moon of Orogos was the armpit of the sector. It was where ships went to die, and where orphans went to disappear. The air tasted of sulfur, and the rain was acidic enough to sting your skin if you didn't wear a hood. I was hanging upside down inside the engine cowling of a derelict freighter, trying to pry loose a power coupling that would buy me food for a week. "Hurry up, Kaelen. The sentry bots are coming." Vespera wasn't an empress then. She was VES, a scrawny thing with grease smeared across her face and eyes that looked like shattered amethysts. She was keeping watch, clutching a pipe that was bigger than her arm. "I'm working on it. This bolt is rusted tighter than a politician's wallet." The screech of metal on metal echoed through the hull. A drone was close. I wrenched the coupling free, skinning my knuckles, and dropped to the floor. "Run." We scrambled through the guts of the ship, leaping over chasms of jagged metal. The drone was behind us, its red scanner eye sweeping the darkness. We squeezed through a hull breach and tumbled out onto the mountains of trash that made up the landscape of Orogos. We slid down a slope of refuse, kicking up clouds of toxic dust. We hit the bottom and kept running, weaving through the maze of crushed starships until we reached our hideout. It was the cockpit of an ancient bomber, half buried in the mud. Safe inside, we collapsed, panting. I held up the power coupling like a trophy. "Boom," I said. "That's 50 credits, easy." VS grabbed it, her eyes wide. "We can buy real protein packs. Not the gray sludge. Maybe even a chocolate ration." We feasted that night. Real food. We sat on the roof of the bomber, watching the orbital defense platforms glitter in the sky like fake stars. One day, VS said, pointing a dirty finger at the heavens, "I'm going to own one of those." "A defense platform?" I asked, chewing on the wrapper of the chocolate. "No, stupid. A starship, a white one, with gold trim, and I'll have a velvet cape, and nobody will ever tell me to run again. I laughed. You? You're a rust rat, VS. Just like me. We're born here, we die here. She turned to me, and even then, in the dim light of the moons, she had that look. That terrifying, beautiful intensity. Watch me, Kaelen. I'm going to rule it all. And you? You're going to be my general. I'm going to be a pilot, I corrected. And I'll fly away from you as fast as I can. Promise me, she said, grabbing my hand. Her grip was surprisingly strong. Promise that when we get out of here, we don't forget. We stick together. Us against the galaxy. I squeezed her hand back. I promise. Us against the galaxy. We sealed the pact with a spit shake, because we were kids and we were gross. But the universe has a funny way of testing promises. 3 days later, the slavers came. They weren't the usual snatch and grab gangs. These were the Iron Corsairs. Mercenaries. They raided the settlement at dawn. I woke up to the sound of screamers, sonic cannons that liquefied your insides if you stood too close. VS. I screamed, scrambling out of the cockpit. She was already outside, fighting. A 10-year-old girl swinging a pipe against an armored slaver. She cracked his visor, but he backhanded her, sending her flying into the mud. I charged. I didn't have a weapon, so I used my teeth. I bit the slaver's wrist, finding the gap in his armor. He howled and dropped her. Run, VS. She scrambled up, but another Corsair grabbed her by the hair. Let her go? I shouted, grabbing a rock. The Corsair laughed. A mechanical, grating sound. He raised his blaster. That was when the old man appeared. He didn't look like much. A ragged cloak, a limp. But he moved like smoke. One moment he was 30 feet away. The next, the Corsair holding VS was gargling blood, a knife protruding from his throat. The old man spun, his cloak flaring. He took out 3 more slavers in as many seconds. It was a dance of death, efficient and brutal. When the dust settled, he looked at us. He had one eye, the other covered by a patch, and a face that looked like it had been carved from granite. You fight with your teeth, boy, he said, looking at me. Ferocious. Stupid, but ferocious. Who are you? VES demanded, wiping blood from her lip. Someone who needs an apprentice, the old man said. I can only take one. He looked between us. I saw the calculation in his eye. He wanted to kill her. Take him, VES said instantly. He's stronger. No, I stepped forward. Take her. She's smarter. The old man chuckled. Loyalty. Rare. I'll take the boy. He has the rage. The girl. She has the ambition. She'll survive on her own. No. I screamed as he grabbed my arm. His grip was iron. VS. Kaelen. He dragged me onto his shuttle. The ramp closed, cutting off my view of her. The last thing I saw was VS standing in the mud, tears streaming down her face, clutching the power coupling we hadn't sold yet. I spent the next 20 years learning how to turn that rage into a weapon. The old man, who turned out to be the exiled warlord Titus, trained me. He broke me and rebuilt me. I learned to fly anything with an engine. I learned to kill with a rifle, a knife, a spoon, and a harsh word. I became Commander Thorne. I led the Phantom Fleet. I liberated colonies and burned down crime syndicates. But every night, I looked at the stars and wondered where she was. I heard rumors. The Ice Queen of the Core Worlds. The usurper who climbed the political ladder over a mountain of bodies. Empress Vespera. I knew it was her, but I stayed away. I kept my distance because I knew that if I saw her, I wouldn't be able to leave again. Until the job. The job was simple. Infiltrate the Imperial Palace, steal the coordinates to the Lost Sector, and get out. I didn't know she would be waiting. I didn't know she let me get caught. Back in the present, the smoke in the throne room was clearing. The explosion had been my extraction team, right on time. Or so I thought. Vespera pulled me into the secret passage, the heavy stone wall sliding shut behind us, muffling the screams of the panic-stricken nobles. She pressed a button on the wall, and the neural shackles on my wrists hissed and unlocked. You're welcome, she said, smoothing her dress. You blew up your own throne room, I said, rubbing my wrists. That seems excessive. It needed redecorating. Too much gold. Tacky. She started walking down the dimly lit corridor. Come on. We have work to do. Work? I thought I was being executed. That was theater, Kaelen. For the court. If I wanted you dead, I would have poisoned your water 3 days ago. Or just let the guard finish the job. I followed her. Why go through the charade? Why the chains? Because, my dear commander, my court is filled with vipers. If they think we are enemies, they won't look closely at what we do next. And what are we doing next? Saving my empire. Or destroying it? I haven't decided yet. She led me to a private hangar. Inside sat a ship that made my heart ache. It was sleek, white, with gold trim. You built it, I said softly. I told you I would, she replied, her voice losing its edge for a moment. She walked up the ramp. Are you coming? Or are you going to stand there gawking at my success? I boarded. The cockpit was state-of-the-art. I slid into the pilot's seat. It fit me like a glove. Where to, Empress? Sector 7. The Black Nebula. I froze. That's Syndicate territory. Suicide. My cousin, Duke Eris, is meeting the Syndicate leaders there tonight. He's selling them the defense codes to the capital. If he succeeds, the Corsairs will raid the core worlds. Millions will die or be enslaved. Just like Orogos. I looked at her. The mask was gone again. I saw the fear she hid from everyone else. She wasn't asking as an empress. She was asking as VES. We're going to stop him? We're going to kill him, she said. And then we're going to remind the galaxy why they fear the storm. I punched in the coordinates. The engines hummed to life. Us against the galaxy? I asked. She smiled, a genuine, dangerous smile. Us against the galaxy. The flight to the Black Nebula was quiet. We sat in the silence of 20 years of unsaid words. Why didn't you come for me? She asked eventually, staring out at the hyperspace tunnel. I was a soldier, VES. I was fighting wars. I waited. Every day, I waited for the boy who bid a slaver for me. I thought you were better off without me. I thought I was just the rust rat who would hold you back. You were the only thing that was real, Kaelen. She turned to me, eyes blazing. Everyone else in my life is a transaction. A bargain. You were home. I reached out and took her hand. It was shaking. I'm here now. We dropped out of hyperspace. The Black Nebula was a swirling soup of violet gas and asteroids. Buried deep within the mist was a massive space station, bristling with turrets. The Syndicate hub. Stealth systems engaged, I said, my hands flying over the controls. We're ghosting. We docked at a maintenance port. Vespera opened a weapon locker. She tossed me a heavy blaster and strapped a plasma sword to her hip. She had changed out of the gown into tactical armor that fit her like a second skin. She looked like a Valkyrie. Let's go crash a party. We moved through the station like shadows. We took out guards with silent precision. It was like we were back in the scrapyard, anticipating each other's moves. I went high. She went low. I provided cover fire. She closed the distance with the blade. It was a rhythm we had never practiced but knew by heart. We reached the central meeting hall. Through the glass doors, we saw them. Duke Eris, a oily man in velvet robes, was shaking hands with the Pirate King, a cyborg monstrosity with a claw for a hand. The codes were on a data spike on the table. The plan? I whispered. Vespera checked the charge on her sword. I go in the front door. I distract them. You flank around, grab the data spike, and rig the reactor to blow. That's a terrible plan. You'll be outnumbered 20-1. I'm the Empress. They'll hesitate. They'll want to ransom me. That buys you 3 minutes. VS, no. That's an order, Commander. She kicked the doors open before I could stop her. Sorry I'm late, she announced, her voice booming. I hope you saved me a seat. The room froze. Eris turned pale. Vespera, cousin, I see you're hosting a garage sale. Selling the family silver? Kill her. The Pirate King roared. Blaster fire erupted. Vespera moved. She was a blur of silver and plasma. She deflected shots with her sword, cutting down guards. I didn't stick to the plan. I never stick to the plan. I kicked out the ventilation grate and dropped into the room behind the Pirate King. I shot him in the back of the head before his feet hit the floor. Kaelen, Vespera shouted, parrying a strike from Eris's bodyguard. You were supposed to get the data. I grabbed the data spike from the table and tossed a thermal detonator in its place. I multitasked. The room exploded into chaos. We fought back to back. It was glorious. The smell of ozone, the hum of the plasma blade, the shout of orders. We were a 2-person army. Eris tried to run. Vespera vaulted over the table and pinned him to the wall. Please, Eris begged. We're family. You betrayed the family, Vespera said coldly. She didn't kill him. She knocked him out cold. We're taking him to trial, she said, panting. He answers to the people. See, you are soft, I teased, shooting a pirate who was trying to crawl away. Shut up and run. The detonator. We sprinted back to the ship. The station was shaking. Sirens wailed. We boarded the white ship just as the reactor went critical. I punched the thrusters. We rocketed away, the shockwave buffeting the hull. Behind us, the station blossomed into a fireball, a new sun in the darkness of the nebula. We sat in the cockpit, watching the fire fade. We did it, I breathed. We did. Vespera turned to me. Adrenaline was still coursing through us. Her hair was messy, her armor scorched. She had never looked more beautiful. She grabbed the front of my jacket and pulled me to her. The kiss wasn't gentle. It was desperate. It tasted of survival and victory. It was 20 years of waiting condensed into a single moment of contact. When we broke apart, we were both breathless. So, she said, tracing my lip with her thumb, "Does this mean you're staying?" I looked at the stars. I looked at the woman who had conquered them. "I'm a pilot," I said. "I need a ship." "You have a ship," she said. "I need a co-pilot." She smirked. "I'm overqualified, but I might consider it." I laughed. The first real, unburdened laugh in decades. Vespera, Empress of the Core Worlds, stood up and offered me her hand. "Come on, General Thorne. Let's go home." I took her hand. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I narrowly avoided execution, blew up a space station, and ended up consort to the most dangerous woman in the universe. The moral of the story? If you make a promise to a girl in a junkyard, you better keep it. Because she might just grow up to own the galaxy, and she will collect on her debts. The galaxy is a big place, full of monsters and tyrants. But as long as we have the ship, and as long as we have each other, I like our odds. End of log. If you enjoyed this journey through the stars, if you felt the heat of the plasma and the chill of the void, do me a favor. Smash that like button like it's a pirate warlord, subscribe to the channel to join the fleet, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a transmission. We have plenty more stories from the edge of the universe coming your way. Until next time, keep flying. Out.